welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here, as always, to unpack the source material you've shared, helping you cut through the noise and really get straight to what matters.
Glad to be here.
So today we're diving into, well, a really fascinating look at how artificial intelligence is changing education. Specifically, this whole wave of generative AI, built on powerful models like LLMs, foundation models.
GPT-4 and the like, yeah, it's a huge topic.
It really is. And our source for this is a set of lecture notes. They're titled, Teacher-Empowered Assessment Movement Team Educators as Agentic AI Makers.
Right, and these are from Jaehwa Choi. Dr. Choi is an associate professor at George Washington University and, importantly, the inventor of the CAFA platform.
CAFA, pronounced like kappa.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly, CAFA. And that connection is pretty key here, linking the theory to a potential practical tool. Dr. Choi's perspective sits right at that intersection: educational theory, classroom needs, and, well, AI development.
Sounds like the perfect guide for this.
Yeah.
So our mission then, for this deep dive, let's unpack these notes. We want to understand the challenges generative AI is throwing at education right now,
And there are quite a few.
and then explore how this team movement proposes to, well, flip the script, really. Putting teachers back in charge, moving them from just using AI tools to actually making them.
That's the core idea. Let's start where the source does the landscape. It absolutely acknowledges the huge potential here: personalized learning, automated feedback, intelligent tutoring.
The dream scenario, almost.
In some ways, yes, but the source pivots pretty quickly to the challenges.
Okay, so what's the flip side according to these notes?
Well, first, it's just the sheer speed and volume. It feels like new AI tools for education are popping up constantly, daily even.
Right, I can see how that would be a lot.
Exactly. For teachers, the source argues this isn't always empowering. It can lead straight to decision fatigue. Which tool? How long will it be supported?
And tools becoming outdated almost immediately.
Yes, rapid obsolescence. Plus, a lack of continuity. Maybe you use one platform for this, another for that. There's often no clear roadmap for teachers on how to integrate these things sustainably.
So instead of feeling empowered, they might feel...
Disoriented, or even, a bit distrustful of this constant churn.
Makes sense.
What else? A really critical point the source raises is who is building these tools. Overwhelmingly, it's external tech companies.
Right, not educators themselves.
Precisely. So teachers are positioned as end users, consumers, essentially, of tech designed somewhere else, often without deep pedagogical grounding in their context.
And the risk there is...
Reduced teacher autonomy, that's a big one, and potentially even de-skilling, where teachers might start relying on external algorithms for things like assessment design, maybe losing touch with some of their own core expertise.
And data. Not always comes up with tech in schools.
Huge concern: data ownership, data control. Who actually owns the insights gathered from classroom data processed by a third-party tool? The source flags a real worry. Teaching could become sort of scripted by outside algorithms if we're not careful.
Okay, so these limitations, these challenges, they point towards needing a different approach.
Exactly. The source uses these challenges to argue forcefully that we need approaches that genuinely empower educators, not just deploy tech at them.
And I'm guessing that leads us directly to team.
You got it. The Teacher-Empowered Assessment Movement team is presented as the strategic response, kind of an antidote to the chaos and potential marginalization.
Okay, so what is team at its core?
It's framed as a decentralized educational AI initiative, and it's rooted in this philosophy of CAFA, that's CAPA again, collective AI on the foundation AI, and collective intelligence.
Collective intelligence, interesting. And its main focus?
Teacher agency, restoring it, strengthening it, that's front and center. Team wants to reposition teachers completely.
How so?
Not just users, but creative engineers, crucial decision makers, even co-authors of the AI systems they use.
Co-authors of AI, wow.
Yeah, and the source positions the CAFA platform, CAPA, as the enabler for this. The idea is it's a space where teachers can actually embed their own teaching philosophies, their classroom insights directly into AI systems.
So they're building their expertise into the tool.
That's the vision. It's the mechanism for that really fundamental shift the source keeps highlighting, from tool user to tool maker.
That sounds radically different from how ed tech usually rolls out.
It really is. And the source contrasts team explicitly with those top-down centralized initiatives. Team prioritizes local local innovation, teacher professionalism, making sure context matters, that it's baked in by the teachers themselves.
Okay, this is a compelling vision. Where did it start? You mentioned it evolved from something called TA.
Right, TA, the Teacher-Empowered Assessment Framework. That was the conceptual starting point, laid out by Dardick and Choi back in 2016.
And TEA was focused on.
It was really the theoretical groundwork for teacher-centric digital transformation, especially around assessment. It talked about assessment engineering, empowering teachers with digital tools, structured knowledge for formative assessment, personalization.
So more of a framework for thinking, for design.
Exactly. Primarily theoretical then, setting the stage intellectually.
So Tiki sets the stage. What pushed it to become team, a movement?
The source points to two big drivers. First, the obvious one. The arrival of generative AI and LLMs, suddenly the tech caught up with the idea.
Making it feasible.
Right. These powerful models, especially within platforms like CAFA designed for teacher interaction, make the idea of teachers actually building or co-creating AI agents much more practical. What was theoretical becomes doable.
Okay, that makes sense. And the second driver?
The shift in framing from just a framework to a movement. Team isn't just updated theory. The source emphasizes it's a call to action. It's dynamic, participatory.
Getting people involved.
Yes. It galvanizes those TEA ideas, urging educators, developers, institutions to actively engage, to create together, to share solutions. It's the energy of a movement driving practical application now.
That really connects back to the idea of teacher control.
Absolutely. It's the embodiment of that CAFA ecosystem principle, moving from tool user to tool maker. Team makes that the central pillar for AI in education.
All right, let's dig deeper into the philosophy then. What are the core values underpinning team?
Well, the absolute foundation is that shift we keep mentioning, from being passive consumers of ed tech to active creators and shapers of AI tools. It takes those TEA principles and amps them up with today's AI and the CAFA approach.
All right, let's walk through some of the key principles the source highlights.
Sure. First and foremost, teacher empowerment. This means giving teachers the skills, the understanding, the confidence, not just to use AI, but to shape it, co-design systems, author agents. It's about elevating the profession.
Giving them real agency over the technology itself.
Exactly. Then there's AI integration. This isn't just slapping AI onto existing stuff. It's about moving towards dynamic systems where automation enhances professional judgment. It doesn't replace it.
Right.
Decentralization is huge. Shifting control away from big, centralized platforms towards teacher-driven local solutions. This allows for diversity, creativity, solutions that actually fit the specific classroom.
Which feels much more responsive than a one-size-fits-all approach.
Totally. AI literacy is another key pillar, but it's not about making every teacher an AI engineer.
Okay.
It's focused on practical, everyday uses. Understanding how AI works, its limits, integrating it responsibly, building confidence in collaborating with AI.
That sounds much more achievable for busy teachers.
It aims to be. Then there's complementarity. Team is designed to work with national strategies, like the AD one mentioned for Korea. It acts as a grassroots layer, empowering teachers on the ground within that larger framework.
So it fits into the bigger picture.
And crucially, curricular alignment. Any tools teachers build need to be rooted in curriculum goals and standards. Innovation has to serve clear educational purposes.
Makes sense. What about ethics? That's always a big concern.
Major focus. Ethical design is baked in, promoting transparency, fairness, privacy. A really key point here is teacher ownership of classroom data and the ability to override or challenge AI outputs. Human oversight is critical.
That tackles some major anxieties head-on.
It tries to. Another principle is ownership of digital knowledge. This is quite transformative. Teachers become creators and owners of digital content and the AI services they build.
So taking their years of experience and making it digital.
Exactly. Transforming that deep analog wisdom, their pedagogical expertise, into structured, shareable digital knowledge.
Wow, that's a powerful concept.
And it leads to the final principle, fostering digital agency through creation. The act of making tools builds critical digital literacy and agency. This involves something called knowledge engineering.
Knowledge engineering, what's that in simple terms?
Think of it like teachers creating a detailed, structured map of their subject area or teaching methods for the AI to understand. They define concepts, relationships, rules, like building the AI's brain for that specific topic, often using something called ontology models.
Ontology models, okay. So it's like giving the AI a framework based on real educational knowledge.
Precisely. Instead of just processing words, the AI understands the underlying structure, how this learning objective connects to that assessment type, how this concept builds on a previous one, common misconceptions. It makes the AI smarter in a pedagogically meaningful way.
So by structuring their knowledge, teachers are literally designing the intelligence.
Yes, they become active architects of the AI's understanding, not just users of someone else's programming.
Okay, so how does generative AI specifically broaden team scope beyond just assessment, where TA started?
Right. This is where things get really expansive. Generative AI, combined with the CAFA principles, lets team move way beyond assessment AI. The source talks about embracing general AI applications across the whole education ecosystem.
So not just grading or test creation anymore.
Far beyond that. With platforms like CAFA, teachers could potentially build and customize all sorts of AI agents. Imagine creating TA chatbots.
Like teaching assistants.
Exactly. Designed by the teacher, providing real-time student support, answering common questions, offering scaffolding on tricky topics, giving immediate feedback based on that teacher's specific methods and curriculum.
That could really help with workload and individual support.
Absolutely. Or think about AI-driven content generators. Teachers could guide AI to draft customized reading materials, generate practice problems at different levels, suggest variations for lesson plans based on student needs, all aligned with their teaching.
Tailored resources on demand.
Yes. And intelligent classroom management systems, maybe helping monitor engagement, track progress against teacher-set goals, flag students needing extra support, streamline some admin tasks.
Things that take up so much time.
Right. The source even suggests collaborative AI for professional development. AI agents could support teacher training, connect educators working on similar challenges, help share best practices based on that structured knowledge we talked about.
Wow, applying it across the board.
The key is integrating AI holistically, but always driven by teacher needs and expertise.
So the message remains consistent. Team is about teachers using and building AI, not being replaced or controlled by it.
Exactly. It's about putting generative AI's power into the hands of empowered educators to create more dynamic, personalized, and ultimately more effective learning, because it's built by those who know the students best.
This approach sounds like it inherently strengthens teachers' digital skills and leadership potential in this AI era.
That's absolutely the intention. The source explicitly links team to developing advanced digital competency, referencing definitions like the South Korean Ministry of Education's. It's not just about using tech, but analyzing, understanding, and critically creating new knowledge and tools ethically.
So how does team specifically help build that competency?
Well, by fostering self-directed teacher competency. It pushes teachers beyond basic usage to understand design principles, data, how AI actually works, empowering them to create.
And that likely influences their students too.
Precisely. By modeling this autonomy and critical thinking with tech, these empowered educators are better positioned to develop self-directed learners. They become leaders in AI-driven personalized learning, architecting adaptive systems in their own context, not just implementing generic ones.
Architects, not just users.
Right. And engaging with platforms like CAFA means they contribute to and benefit from a wider educational knowledge network and EKN, sharing their expertise, their custom AI models, their successful strategies across schools or districts.
So individual creation builds a collective resource for the profession.
That's the idea. The source paints a picture of transformed teacher roles. From consumers to creators, instructors to learning architects, assessors to learning analysts, applying tailored solutions instead of one-size-fits-all.
It really emphasizes amplifying the teacher's role, their judgment.
Yes, leveraging AI to enhance, not diminish, their unique expertise and human connection. Ensuring tech serves education, with the teacher firmly in the loop.
This connects to a bigger philosophical point the source makes, doesn't it? About humanity and tools.
It does. It takes a step back, looks at our history as toolmakers. Homo sapiens, wise human, yes, but it deliberately introduces Bergson's concept of homo faber, man the maker.
The idea that making things is core to being human.
Exactly, that our essence lies partly in our ability to create tools, and through that creation we shape ourselves and our world. We built tools for information overload, now we have AI interacting with knowledge itself. Thriving with AI requires a new level of active engagement.
And it connects this to Foucault's active subject.
Right. The individual who isn't just passively shaped by structures, but actively shapes their own reality. Team, the source argues, embodies this by making teachers active subjects and creators of digital knowledge tools. They become homo faber for the digital age.
Shaping the tools that shape learning.
And this process is described as transformative for educators, moving from consuming to producing, from convergent thinking, just applying existing solutions, to expansive creative problem solving, from basic application to high-order knowledge construction.
It sounds like a much deeper level of engagement with technology.
Definitely. Moving from passively learning about AI to autonomous, innovative experiences with AI. It's about intellectual fulfillment through creation, using knowledge as a tool for improvement.
Encountering reliance on potentially misaligned external tools.
Yes, the source stresses the importance of human-created tools from within education, leading to that powerful motto: teachers, creators of digital education tools.
That really sums up the vision.
It's about ensuring educators steer AI's implementation, shaping it to serve core educational goals.
Because ultimately, education is about nurturing capable, ethical, emotional humans, something AI can't replace.
Precisely. The future hinges on how we interact with AI ethically, creatively, meaningfully. Team aims to provide the foundation for that human-centered interaction.
Okay, so the vision is clear. How does the source suggest we actually get there? What are the practical steps and, inevitably, the challenges?
It outlines a multi-pronged strategy. A big piece is the training program.
For all teachers, pre-service, in-service.
Yes, multi-tiered, covering AI basics for educators, practical, hands-on building of agents using platforms like CAFA, integrating tools into practice, data literacy, delivered flexibly online courses, webinars, peer networks, design labs.
Focused on building real skills.
Definitely. Paired with a robust technical framework like CAFA itself, built for scalability and teacher customization. Think AI agent code libraries for sharing, ways for different agents to work together based on shared knowledge structures, those ontologies, user-friendly customization tools, ongoing support.
And enabling infrastructure.
Right. And then policy and documentation to legitimize it all, embedding team into curriculum standards, white papers, partnership models with institutions.
What are the biggest roadblocks foreseen?
A major one is that curriculum alignment and knowledge structuring. Building truly effective, context-aware AI requires that educational knowledge, the curriculum, be structured in a way AI can understand.
And that's where Korea comes in.
Yes, curriculum, ontology reservoir for education via AI, is presented as crucial. It's about digitizing and organizing the curriculum using ontology models, building that structured knowledge map we discussed earlier. It creates the machine-readable foundation.
So building Korea is almost a prerequisite for team to reach its full potential.
The source suggests it's fundamental work needed so teachers can build truly smart, aligned tools. And linked to this is ontology model-centered generation, OMG, basically. Teachers need to build their AI tools following the rules of that structured ontology, like Korea, to ensure accuracy and consistency.
That sounds like a massive undertaking, structuring a whole curriculum like that.
It is significant, no doubt, but positioned as essential for enabling high-quality, teacher-created AI. Other challenges mentioned are the predictable ones: the teacher-tech gap addressed through training, ethical privacy concerns needing clear policies and safeguards, and implementation risk requiring pilot projects and flexibility.
And underpinning it all is the need for support.
Absolutely. Supportive infrastructure, a collaborative culture, real institutional backing. It's a systemic shift.
Okay, so wrapping up, team is positioned as a really fundamental shift for AI in education.
A vital one, the source argues. It proactively makes educators central figures, not just users, in how AI transforms teaching and learning. It moves beyond passive adoption to active creation and innovation.
Built on TEA's foundations, but made practical by generative AI and platforms like CAFA.
Right. Addressing AI's challenges by ensuring tech serves education and human values, guided by teachers. The source leaves us with that powerful thought. The future isn't just the tech, it's how we interact with it, ethically, creatively, meaningfully.
Which leads perfectly into our final thought for you, listening to this deep dive. What does it truly mean for a teacher, someone dedicated to human growth, to become a tool maker in this age of AI? How could that fundamental shift, putting the power of creation in their hands, empower not just their own practice, but ripple outwards to every student they teach and every learning journey they help shape?